This is a carrot, which I'm sure you know because, well, it's a carrot and they're everywhere. This is a parsnip, which might be new to you because, well, they're just less common. Today, we're going to explore the key differences and similarities between the carrot and the parsnip, and, well, we're going to get to the root of both of these vegetables. Hello and welcome to I Want to Cook. My name is Chef Matt and this channel is all about helping you be a better cook. And yes, today we are comparing the carrot with the parsnip. And if this looks familiar to you, yes indeed, this is a parsnip. This is the answer to last week's culinary trivia question, and all of these fine folks got it correct. So congratulations. Now, before discussing their differences, let's talk about their similarities because carrots and parsnips both have a lot in common. Well, just beginning with their shape. I mean, just look at these things. They look very similar. And there's a reason for that because, well, they are both root vegetables and they are both related to each other. You can kind of think of themselves as cousins in the produce aisle. In fact, they look so similar, both with their kind of conical rod shape, you might just think that a parsnip is a carrot that got ghosted. Now, both of these root vegetables are available in the produce aisle, and they are usually available year-round, and they're often near each other in the produce section. Both of these vegetables keep well in the refrigerator. They can usually last a couple weeks or more, which is great. It means they're not that perishable and you can have them on hand. Now, both of these should be washed and scrubbed or peeled before using. Remember, these are root vegetables. They come from the ground, and even though most of them have been washed before they get to the market, well, you never know what's on that outer layer. So it's always a good idea to make sure that they are washed or peeled before using. And speaking of using, well, both of these have a lot of different applications. They can be eaten alone or they can be used in a whole variety of recipes. Now let's first talk about the more familiar of these two, and that is of course the carrot. And you know carrots, they are available everywhere. Just about every market carries them. You can find them in the produce aisle. They are ubiquitous. And what's great is that they come in a wide variety. Of course, you can get whole carrots like this. You can get fresh baby carriage packaged. You can even get different cuts of carrots. And it's not just fresh carrots that you can buy. You can also buy them canned. You can buy them frozen. Again, carrots are just everywhere and both rabbits and humans alike love them. One particularly great thing about carrots is that they are inexpensive. You can often find them for $1 a pound or less. And it is a great way to get a lot of nutrients into your diet for very little money. I remember once my wife actually found a 20-pound bag of carrots for like $10 or something. It was crazy. And well, let me tell you, I think my skin was orange by the end of a couple weeks, and we were using carrots for everything. Another thing to know about carrots is they actually come in a wide variety of colors. Now, I'm sure you're familiar with carrots like this. This is just an orange carrot, which everybody knows, but carrots are also available in different colors. So here's a bag of rainbow color carrots, and in addition to some orange, we have a lovely purple carrot like this, and well, we even have a pale one like this. And you know, if you're looking at this, well, it obviously looks very similar to a parsnip because it's kind of this yellow color, but this is indeed a carrot, just a yellow one. Now, carrots are wonderful eaten raw or cooked. I'm sure you've had a raw carrot. Maybe you snacked on them as a kid, or you had some as a crudité platter with some nice, lovely dip. One of my favorite ways to cook carrots is by making glazed carrots. And we actually made that recipe some time back on this channel. It is a lovely application where you pan steam some carrots with some chicken broth, then you add butter and brown sugar, and you get this lovely soft carrots that are both savory and sweet. It is wonderful, and I'll drop a link to that video in the description below. But there are myriad ways to cook carrots, and they are all delicious. And in addition to cooking them and enjoying carrots on their own, they're also foundational to some recipes and to some cooking techniques. So for example, you might be familiar with mirepoix, which is absolutely one of the foundations of good cooking. We did that way early on this channel. Mirepoix, if you're not familiar, is a mix of onions, carrots, and celery, which we then cook. And those three vegetables, boy, when they come together, they just form some incredible flavors, some incredible textures. We use those all the time in culinary school. Again, they are the foundation of French cooking, and there's so many applications. And well, it wouldn't be mirepoix without carrots. Now, as for taste and texture, again, you most likely have had a carrot, but in the rare chance that you haven't, well, carrots are, of course, crunchy. They're slightly sweet. They've got a lot of water content, and well, I think they're just delicious. And finally, speaking of water content, carrots are wonderful for juicing. If you have a juice extractor, well, you need to get juicing with carrots because they are delicious. They make a wonderful deep orange drink that is so refreshing, it's unbelievable. So there you go, there's a quick remedial lesson on carrots. Okay, let's talk parsnips. And the first thing you might be wondering is, well, how do you eat these things? Do you cook them? Do you eat them raw? Well, truth is, parsnips can be eaten raw, but they're not very good. I don't think you'd want to take a big bite of one like you would a carrot. Their flavor just isn't that great raw, and well, again, there's other reasons that we'll get into for that. But one application where you could eat them raw is if you shaved them into ribbons, like nice and thin, and then you use those in a salad or something like that. It'd be fine that way, but most of the time, parsnips are enjoyed cooked. Now, another thing to know about parsnips is, well, you're just not going to find them as widely available as you would carrots. Now, parsnips are a winter vegetable, and they're kind of at their peak during the winter and fall, but they are in the markets year-round. But they're usually just confined to one little section in the produce aisle. They're not going to be like carrots, where you find all these different varieties and you find all these different preparations for them, maybe canned, frozen, etc. Parsnips, well, they're usually just relegated to one section in the produce aisle, and either your market has them or they don't. Parsnips are also quite a bit more expensive than carrots. At least where I shop, they're about 4 times the price of carrots. So I bought some carrots for about $1 a pound the other day, while the parsnips were $4 a pound. So quite a premium you're paying for parsnips versus carrots. Now, one reason you probably wouldn't want to eat a parsnip raw is because of its texture. It's just kind of woody, and it's not very good raw. But boy, when you cook them, some absolute magic happens. And one of my favorite ways to prepare parsnips is in a puree. And the way you do that is you simmer some parsnips in water. You get them nice and tender. It only takes about 10 or 15 minutes. And then you strain them, put them in a food processor. Then you add some cream and some butter and some seasonings like thyme and salt and pepper. You whiz it up and you get something absolutely marvelous. You get a parsnip puree. It's kind of like mashed potatoes, but worlds better. It is so delicious, and it is a wonderful application for parsnips. One of my favorite ways to use them, and it definitely makes parsnips worth the money. Now, other great ways of cooking parsnips are simply roasting them. You can even roast them in something like a toaster oven, or you can roast them along with maybe a turkey you're cooking. They're great for Thanksgiving, and that is a wonderful application because when you roast or bake a parsnip, what happens is you concentrate that flavor. So it just becomes even stronger and more delicious. Other easy ways to cook parsnips are by steaming them or even pan frying them, and you can even cook them in an air fryer. Remember, an air fryer is just like a convection oven on steroids, so you could dice up some parsnips nice and small and air fry those and get something really, really tasty. So what do these things taste like? Well, again, it's always kind of so hard to describe something that tastes so unique. But it's kind of earthy, it's kind of sweet. It pairs really well with thyme. And well, I don't know, guys, here's my best advice. Buy a parsnip or two, cook it, and well, find out. Again, I think they're really good. They've got maybe a little hint of a nutmeg in them. And again, there's just a little bit of sweetness. I think they're so delicious. Have you ever had a parsnip? And if you haven't, well, get some parsnips and make them and let me know what you think. Okay, finally, let's talk buying advice for parsnips. Now, like carrots, you're gonna want parsnips that are nice and sturdy. You don't want them to be wilted. You don't want them to have too many spots. And you're actually gonna wanna look for smaller parsnips. So if you're choosing between these two parsnips, you're gonna want this smaller one. And the reason for that is because, well, as parsnips get bigger, you see this here, they get this big woody core, and this is not good. It doesn't taste good, and it just doesn't have a very good texture. This big woody core, you might even wanna cut out. Or just buy a small to medium-sized parsnip and it's not going to be as big. But there's some quick buying advice on parsnips, and then like carrots, once you buy them, you can store them in your refrigerator in the little vegetable section. They should last for at least 2 weeks or so. So there you go, parsnips. Okay, your turn. Which of these two root vegetables do you prefer? And well, if you've never had a parsnip before, I do hope you try them. They are delicious, and it's always great to just kind of open yourself up to new foods, maybe new ways of cooking, new preparations. Hey, surprise yourself, surprise your family and friends. Maybe try that parsnip puree. Absolutely delicious. Okay, trivia time, and we have a first for trivia time because, well, I'm stumped. I bought this thing at the thrift store this week, and I have no idea what it is. I mean, it's some sort of clamping device, but I'd never seen anything like this. I have no idea what this is. So if you do, well, of course, please put that in the comments section because I want to know as well. So if you recognize this device, if you know what it is, well, please let me and everybody else know. Hey, as always, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for joining me in my kitchen. Until next time, I hope you want to cook.